Good morning, students. Welcome back to our biology class. Today we are going to learn some terms regarding chapter number 4, absorption of water by roots. In plants, absorption and conduction of water and minerals takes place by the following phenomena. First one, imbibition, diffusion, osmosis, active transport, turgidity and flexidity, passive transport. By the following way only water and mineral conduction take place in plants, or absorption and conduction of water and mineral take place in a plant body by this phenomena. Okay, one by one we can study. First we can learn about imbibition. Imbibition is a phenomenon by which the living or dead plant cells absorb water by surface attraction. This phenomenon we can call as imbibition. There is one question. It is very difficult to close your wooden doors during rainy season. Why? What is the reason? Answer is, by imbibition, these wooden dots will absorb water, so its size will increase. Because of this only, it is difficult to close wooden dots during rainy season. Okay, by which way dead plant cells or living cells absorb water? By surface attraction only it absorb water. Okay, that phenomena we can call as imbibition. Okay, next we can learn what is diffusion. Movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration we can call as diffusion. Diffusion stops when the concentration gradient is zero, that is, state of equilibrium is reached. Then what is a diffusion? Diffusion means the movement of molecules from where? From the region of higher concentration to region of lower concentration. Okay. Then this movement of molecules we can call as diffusion. Diffusion will stop when the concentration gradient, when it will become equilibrium, then what will stop? Process of diffusion will stop. Okay. Next we can learn what is osmosis. Actually, osmosis is the process by which water molecules will move from its higher concentration to its lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane or selectively permeable membrane. This process we can call as osmosis. What is osmosis? Movement of water molecules from where to where? From a higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So this process we can call as osmosis. There are two types of osmosis: endosmosis and exosmosis. Okay. What is endosmosis? The movement of water molecules from outside to inside the cell or plant. Okay, this we can call as endosmosis. Whereas exosmosis means the movement of water molecules from the inside the cell to outside. That we can call as exosmosis. So these are the two types of osmosis, endo and exosmosis. Endosmosis means water molecules will move outside to inside the cell, whereas exosmosis, water molecules can move from inside the cell to outside. Next, the term active transport. Movement of particles, that may be molecules or ions, through a membrane from region of lower concentration to region of higher concentration. What is active transport? In active transport, molecules or ions will move from where? From lower concentration to higher concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, this movement of molecules we can call as active transport. Okay, always active transport take place against a concentration gradient, and energy consuming uses of oxygen from aerobic respiration to produce energy. Actually, for active transport, what is required? Energy is required. Okay, this energy from where will get? By aerobic respiration only. What can produce? Energy can produce. This energy only utilizing for active transport. Example is a plant absorb mineral salts present in soil as a charged ions. Okay, the concentration of ion in soil is very less than vacuole, therefore uptake of ions is assisted by active transport across the root hair. Okay, now already we know that concentration of ions very less, charged ion is very less where? In the soil, comparing in the vacuole of a plant cells. Okay, then in this case this ions need to move where? Inside the plant cells. Okay, from where to where it moving? From lower concentration to higher concentration it need to move. For this movement what is required? Energy is required. Okay, then only what can reach? This charged ions can reach inside the plant cells. Okay, next we can learn the term tonicity. Relative concentration of this solution that determine the direction and extent of diffusion is called tonicity. What is tonicity? It is a relative concentration of the solution. How that solution concentration is varies. Okay, and this various concentration determine the direction and extent of diffusion. So that we can call it as tonicity. Okay, according to this tonicity, we can classify the solution into three types. What are they? Isotonic, hypotonic, and hypertonic. These are the three types of solution based on their tonicity. What is tonicity? Relative concentration of the solution that determine the direction and the extent of diffusion. That we are calling as the tonicity. Based on tonicity, how many solutions are there? There are three types of solution. What are they? Isotonic, hypotonic, and hypertonic. One by one we can learn. First we can learn about isotonic solution. The relative concentration of water molecules and solute molecules on either side of cell membrane is the same. In such a condition, there is no net movement of water molecules across the cell membrane. That means no osmosis. Consider this is a cell. Okay. So, in the case of isotonic solution, the concentration of solute and water inside and outside will be same. So there is no net movement of water molecules to where? To inside and outside. Okay, such a condition of the solution we can call as isotonic solution. Means the solute concentration and water concentration will be same where? Inside and outside the cell. Okay, so no osmosis in such a condition. Second one is hypotonic solution. The relative concentration of solute outside the cell is lower than inside the cell, whereas water concentration is more outside the cell but inside the cell high solute concentration and low water concentration. So water molecules will move to inside the cell. That means endosmosis. Consider this is a cell. Okay, in this cell, when compare with the outside, okay, outside more water molecules are present but solute molecules less. Okay, but inside the cell more solute concentration, less water concentration. Then what will happen? Automatically water molecules will move where? To inside the cell. Why? Because inside the cell there is less water molecules, but outside the cells there are more water molecules. So this water will move where? Outside to inside. So this state of solution we can call as hypotonic solution. So when we keep a cell in hypotonic solution, it will swell or it become turgid. Why? Because from outside all the water molecules will enter where? Inside the cells. There is a movement of water molecules. Which movement take place? Endosmosis will take place. That means water molecules will move from outside to inside the cell. Next, last one is hypertonic. The relative concentration of solute outside the cell is higher than inside the cell, whereas water concentration is more inside the cell and low outside the cell. So water will move from inside the cell to outside. That means exosmosis. What is hypertonic solution? Consider this is a cell. So inside the cell water concentration is very high. Okay, solute concentration is low inside the cell, whereas solute concentration outside the cell is very high, whereas water concentration is very less. In this case, what will happen? The water molecules will move from inside the cell to outside the cell. Here exosmosis will take place. During exosmosis, water will move from inside the cell to outside. Why water is moving from inside to outside? Because inside the cells more water molecules are there, but outside the cell there is less. But in the case of solute, inside the cells there is very less solute concentration, but outside the cell very high solute concentration. Okay, so water will show the tendency to move from higher concentration to lower concentration. So this condition of the solution we are calling as hypertonic. When we keep a plant cell in hypertonic solution, what will happen? It will shrink. That means plasmolysis will take place. Okay, but what is plasmolysis? The withdrawal of the cytoplasm from the cells. That condition we can call as plasmolysis. Means all the water content from the cell will lose and finally it will shrink. That condition we can call as plasmolysis. Okay, or that cell we are calling as the plasmolized cell or flexed cell. Whereas when we place a plant cell in hypotonic solution, what will happen? The plant will swell by absorbing water to inside. So that condition we are calling as the turgidity. Okay. How the plant cell become turgid? By absorbing water from outside to inside. Because in a hypotonic solution, outside more water molecules are there, but inside the cell less. So water will move from outside to inside the cell. Like this way it become turgid or swollen. Whereas when we keep a plant cell in isotonic solution, there is no any change. Why there is no any change? Because inside the cell and outside the cell, same concentration of molecules are there. That means solute concentration and water concentration inside and outside the cell will be same. So there is no net movement of water molecules. That means no osmosis take place. Next we can learn some terms regarding absorption of water. First one is plasmolysis. The contraction of protoplasm of a plant cell when it is placed in hypertonic solution. Already we learned what is a hypertonic solution. That means the solution which have a more solute concentration and less water concentration. Such a solution we are calling as the hypertonic solution. So when we keep a cell in a hypertonic solution, what will withdraw? Or contraction of protoplasm will take place. What is protoplasm? Protoplasm is the entire living content of the cell, including cytoplasm and nucleus. Okay, that the protoplasm will contract when we keep a cell where in a hypertonic solution. So that condition we are calling as the plasmolysis, or that phenomena we can call as plasmolysis. By plasmolysis, a cell will shrink. Next, flexidity. When a plant cell placed in a hypertonic solution, the plant cell loses water and the protoplasm of the cell is pulled away from the cell wall. That we can call as flexidity. Actually, by plasmolysis only what is happening? Flexidity take place. By plasmolysis, what will withdraw? Protoplasm will contract. Then cell become shrunken stage. Okay, that is shrunken stage of the cell we are calling as the flexidity. Next, turgidity. It is the state of being turgid or swollen. When we place a plant cell in hypotonic solution, what will happen? Plant cell will absorb water. Okay, and by absorbing water, the cell size will increase. There is no more capacity to absorb water. That state or that condition we are calling as the turgid state or turgid condition. Okay. Next one is turgor pressure. The pressure exerted by the cell content on cell wall is called turgor pressure or turgor pressure. It is turgor pressure. Always cell content exerting or applying a pressure to where? To the cell wall. That pressure we can call as turgor pressure. In the case of turgor pressure, cell content only exerting pressure on cell wall. Okay. Next, wall pressure. The pressure exerted by the cell wall on cell content we can call as wall pressure. The case of wall pressure, cell wall is exerting a pressure to where? To cell content. Means cell wall applying a pressure on cell content. That pressure we are calling as the wall pressure. Okay, but turgor pressure means cell content exerting a pressure to cell wall, but wall pressure means cell wall exerting a pressure to cell content. Okay, next, root pressure. The pressure developed in the root due to the continuous inward movement of water through cell to cell osmosis, which helps in the ascent of sap upward through the stem. Already we know that when water passes through root, what will create a pressure will create where inside the root cells by the continuous movement of water through it. That pressure which form inside the root cell we can call as root pressure. Next we can learn the term bleeding. The loss of water or the loss of cell sap through a cut stem is called bleeding. When we make a cut on plant stem, automatically what will come out? That cell sap or water will come out. That process we can call as bleeding. Okay. Next, guttation. In certain plants like tomato, grass, ferns, etc., excessive water will lose through a specialized pore known as hydrothode. This process is known as guttation. Actually, guttation only we can see some special type of plants. What are example? Tomatoes, grass, ferns, etc. Okay. In these plants, excess water will lose through where? Through a specialized pore. That is specialized pore we are calling as hydrothodes. Okay. Through this hydrothodes only that the excess water can lose. That process we can call as guttation. Is it clear?